With crime prevalent in South Africa, it's important to know how to protect yourself and your loved ones. Hijacking is a common crime in the country, so it's important to know how to avoid being a victim of this crime and how to react when you find yourself being hijacked. To unpack this, I'm joined by Richard Brussow from the National Hijack Prevention Academy. Mr. Brussow, thank you very much for your time. I think many have become even more worried now after seeing that attempted hijacking in the Northwest that was captured on video. I mean, criminals have clearly become more brazen. So what do we do? Do we carry pepper sprays now or some sort of gadgets to protect ourselves?
You can, good morning firstly, you can, but you must keep in mind 69% of vehicle hijackings in South Africa get reported. It happens in a home driveway. So our first line of defense is awareness. We have to lift our awareness. You know, when you drive home, especially in the afternoon, before you enter your property, maybe stop parallel in the road. Make sure you're not being followed. Small little things. All the robber now does is he says, let's shift from this person to another one because this one is clever, this one is wake up. You basically start shifting crime in South Africa. It sounds terrible when I put it that way, but it's reality.
So we need to be more alert. So what happens if you do, in fact, realize that somebody is tailing you and you're now approaching your driveway? Do you drive off or do you actually attempt to speed into your home? What would be the more safer thing to do?
Firstly, as you approach your house, try and stop parallel in the road. If there's a vehicle behind you, and the robbers like to follow at a distance of about 4 properties, there are 2 reasons for that. The robber says, if you look in your center mirror, you won't be able to see who's in the car behind you, how many people in the car, but the robber knows your eye will tell your brain, they are far. I'll be able to enter long before they get you. And that is where you make the mistake. The robber keeps that distance, about 4 properties. They look for the sign. The sign could be your car's brake lights coming on, the indicator coming on. As soon as the robbers see that, they speed up a bit. An example, if you drive at 80 kilometers an hour, your car travels at 21 meters per second. So where are the robbers? Maximum 5 seconds later, right behind you. They box you in. So try and stop parallel in the road. If a vehicle comes from behind and they overtake you, don't think it's nothing. Keep in mind, when the robbers overtake you, you will not have 3 men in the car looking at you like this. You might have one individual, the driver. Where are the other 2 robbers? They're crouching down. If where you have stopped parallel to your gate now, to the end of the road, it is like 4 properties and less. The robbers overtake, go to the end of the road, make a U-turn and come back. If the distance is further, they overtake, go about 3 houses further down, and they stop opposite side of the road. They look, what are you doing? As soon as your gate opens or you exit the car, they reverse and they race back to your gate. As soon as you've opened the gate and you've entered, stop. Let the gate close behind you immediately. Let's limit the crime to only a hijacking. Let's not let it roll over into a house robbery.
So what happens if perhaps now they've come, overtook you, they're now in front and perhaps there's another vehicle that pulls over just behind you and you actually surrounded you in the middle? What would be the best thing to do in such a situation? Do you call somebody? Do you perhaps try and get out and run and leave your car? What happens in such a situation? Or what should happen?
Your first objective is obviously, I want to survive this. So if the robbers are so close to you that you can already see the color of the weapons pointed at you, it's a silver or a black gun in color, your brain must be able to say, hey, they are so close to me with those firearms, they're going to cause me grievous bodily harm. If you decide, well, they're a little bit further and there is maybe an escape route, and you decide, you know, some people are more brave than others, and you decide to race off, don't sit up straight and race down the road. If the robbers shoot, they shoot at what they see inside the motor vehicle. And what do they see? Head, neck, shoulder. Maybe make your body small. Turn to where you want to go. Fall flat. Accelerate. 1,000, 1,002. You've created a bit of distance and you've put metal between yourself and the attacker. If they are so close that you see, well, I can see the weapons, they're right next to my motor car now. Your first objective is I surrender, my hands up, I am no threat to you whatsoever. Be very careful dropping your right hand. You must keep in mind at this point, you are panicking, you're fearful, you just want to get out of that motor car. Be careful dropping your right hand. The robber might misread this and think you are reaching for something. So, you know, 7 out of 10 people in South Africa are right-handed. Where would you place a weapon? As you said, your taser, your pepper spray, knife, gun. It's either on the side, yeah, by the door, between your legs, or on the side, yeah. 7 out of 10 people will do this. Imagine driving something big, Toyota Hilux, Bucky, Ford Ranger. Remember the height factor, the robber cannot look down on you. So the slightest move they see you do like this, the robber thinks, you're reaching. So I want to have my hands visible. With my left hand, unlock the door. Just pull the lever, the door will unlock. When your left hand, the non-gun hand now goes down and you press the seatbelt catch, be careful lifting it. And as you want to exit, you remember, I have not taken my car out of gear. And you start doing this. Most people have got jewelry on their left hands. It could even be a watch. That buckle is going to shine the reflection through the window. It might scare that young man. So if your hand is down there, click the seatbelt, a little bit forward the hand. In an automatic vehicle, don't fiddle with the gears. Just pull up the handbrake. The car will stand still. In a manual, take it out of gear and you exit that vehicle. You have lost. We can fight another day. No life is worth a vehicle. Let it go.
No, honestly, I actually concur with that, because when I looked at that video, I know many people celebrated or were saying at least that this man was fighting for himself when he took out that knife and he scared the two would-be robbers away. But one wondered that that situation could have completely gone wrong. It could have gone wrong. He could have lost his life, and they could have used that very knife to take away his life.
You know, a split second, a centimeter closer, he could have been stabbed. He could not have survived, maybe. You know, a lot of people, as I call them, keyboard warriors, they have always got these answers. You should have done that. You should have done that. Until you're in that position, everybody reacts differently. You know, but you must think you've got family at home. You've got loved ones. Your first objective is, I want to survive this ordeal. My vehicle can be replaced. It's sad that we are in this position, but your life comes first.
So of the vehicles, though, which would you say are the more high-risk vehicles? Is it SUVs? Is it your normal sedans or your Polo hatchbacks? Which ones?
Look, your sedans, obviously, but your SUVs are slowly but surely catching up. It's mostly market related. The more they are of a certain brand on the street, the more the robbers will take. Body parts, spares are needed, corrupt scrapyards, panel beaters. Obviously, there's a big demand for, you know, like Toyota body parts, VW parts. So the more they are, the more they'll take. Now your brain says, then I must never buy a Toyota Hilux, a Fortuner, or a Polo, because then they target vehicles. In this sense, you might be a little bit right. But on the other hand, if you then lift your awareness, the robber quickly now says, the man is clever, let's leave this one and shift the crime to someone else.
Because we have seen even the high-end vehicles, because many had thought that it's the ones that are in high circulation, that perhaps they rob them to sell off the parts of the car. Correct. But then now we've seen quite a lot of very, very high-end exclusive vehicles that are also being taken.
Yes. The reason why they take them is obviously export. When I say export, up in Africa, but you must also take, for example, robberies at filling stations. You know, the robberies happen at filling stations, but larger percentage happen after 8 o'clock at night. It's not necessarily the car, it's what's in the motor vehicle. Let's imagine how the robbers are driving tonight from A to B. Not to go and hijack, maybe to go and visit girls. Now they bypass the filling station. There stands the nice, only example, BMW, over R1 million. What does that vehicle shout back to the robbers? Money. If you drive a nice car like that, you've definitely got a nice cell phone in the vehicle. You've got a watch that is real on your arm, and you've got a wallet filled with bank cards. So sometimes the vehicle, especially lady drivers, the robber knows that ring on your finger is not honey, it's the real thing. So they want to see you and the vehicle you drive to give them an idea of the value. Sometimes the robbers will even determine the technique, the hijackers, they have to perform to get hold of you via the value attached to your motor vehicle. A quick example. The robbers are sitting at a filling station. They're looking at the main road, bypassing them right in front of them. Here comes the man driving the R1.5 million German car. What does that car tell the robber? Look at the value attached to the motor vehicle. You're driving a car that's worth more than 1.5 million. You live in a security estate. I must get that man off the road before he gets to his destination. I don't want to fight with the guards at his house.
Yes.
I must give him a little bump at a traffic light or use a blue light. A quick another one. I see the lady driving the old shape Toyota Fortuner. The robber will not tell you immediately, follow home or so. The robber will say, why did daddy buy mommy a car like that? Now, before ladies get excited and say, surely, Richard, she could have bought the car herself. If you give a lady 300,000-400,000 rand in Gauteng, none of them will get excited and say, I'm going to buy an old Fortuner. I call them unfortunates. The robber says, Daddy's worried about safety and security. Daddy bought mommy something big that if things go wrong, mommy can just drive over and through things. The chances of mommy living in a security estate is much higher than living in a freestanding house. We must get her off the road before she gets to her destination. They are clever. They read us like books. So the quicker we realize, especially when you drive home in the afternoons, we have to lift our awareness. You shift crime that much easier then.
We only wish they would use that intelligence for something else, not to take what is ours. But Richard, thank you very much for an insightful conversation. That was Richard Brussow from the National Hijack Prevention Academy. More news.